All right, Gemini or Gemini cross watcher. Cold. This is going to be a message for you guys. I got a good little bit here to read. So, here we go. This isn't going to be for everybody. You can reverse this if you need to. But let's go ahead and get into it. So, I don't know what I'm going to title this yet, but what I put was realizing who you really want or the type of person that you want. How will we get to terms to where we're realizing who we really want or what we really want for ourselves, or even the type of person that we want or the type of person we want to be? Because I feel that, I'll say it's you because that's how I'm getting it, but you can reverse this. You guys, well, let me read it. Basically, some of you already have, are currently, or will realize everything that I just said, or you're going to see that another person is doing this, realizing these things. Okay? Whoever is coming to terms with the fact that it's not them is not only refusing to accept it, and in some way may try to hold on or even reappear, but it's putting them in a place where they're going to have to deep dive, maybe even a connection to Aries here, because Aries got dive deeper. It doesn't have to be though. Where am I at? Where they're going to have to deep dive because of it. I don't want to use the word rejection here, but anyone who's realizing something, the other person who doesn't really want something to change, end completely, or be shut off completely, that person's going to be almost like forced to deep dive with themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually really positive. That's where we see change. Which to me, again, is a positive thing. At first, they won't like this, but that's totally understandable. I mean, how many times does that happen to us where choices were made and it's like, God, you know, we weren't the ones that necessarily wanted that outcome, but we were forced to have to deal with it anyway, and ultimately it caused the change in us, but it was for the better, right? Maybe not initially. But ultimately, it's something that will cause them to grow in a deeper, honest connection with themselves. The other day, I heard Gemstone Tarot say something that it stuck with me. I was like, oh, I love that. She says, yeses aren't always good, and no's aren't always bad. See, we seem to think that no's are always bad, but that's not necessarily true. But in this situation, if someone here is receiving a no, whether it's from another person or they're just realizing that it's not them, or realizing that someone isn't for them, or realizing a certain lifestyle isn't for them, that can be really difficult, but it's like actually what's going to be probably best here for someone ultimately. If this is someone you're choosing to not get back together with, so if you have a person here where y'all have still been talking and it's been like on and off, but you decide one day, you like have this wake up call, we'll call it, and you're like, this isn't my person. I don't know what we're doing here. We're just fooling ourselves, or I'm ready to move in a different direction, or I just no longer want this. I mean, whatever the realization is, they really don't see this coming. Maybe because for a while you guys have been on again, off again, or still staying in each other's lives, but there's been no, you see what I'm saying? They're not going to like that at all. Which again, I get that, I do, but ultimately you have the right to decide what's best for you, vice versa, you know? I think their instinct is going to be to initially hold on and try to stay around or even keep coming back around. But eventually they're going to have to move on because you're going to, if you haven't already. If this is something that's already happened, you already moved on, and someone had to they had to deal with that. This could also be foreshadowing something to come. It's just because endings can be really painful, that they're not really wanting to see this go because there's history here and things like that, you know? If this is a current person that you guys are dealing with, like you're currently with them, and you've recently had a fallout, something became extremely clear to you in regards to this situation, and they will feel like holding on for dear life because they sense now this new awareness in you, and that will eventually have you walking out the door if you aren't already or considering it. So if you're currently like, you know, having some issues with someone, or just recently did, like a partner, something about that one out of any other time before y'all have had disagreements or whatever, arguments, whatever you want to call it, something about this recent one or this current one shows somebody, okay, wait, Gemini or Gemini crosswatcher this is like, I think they're actually kind of over this with me, or period, or I'm just something. It's like becoming obvious to them as well, and that's painful, and I think they're going to try to hold on for dear life. Okay. I truly believe you have realized something or come across something, maybe even, that takes you aback and shows you the reality of what's really there. Once this happens, or if this has already happened, once it happened, you almost didn't unsee it. You couldn't unsee it. Like, once something comes into our awareness and we become clear of it, whether it's something we realize out here, we see, come across, it's brought to our attention, or straight up have like an awakening about it, you really can't shut that off. You can't ignore it. It's something that jolts us, moves us, shakes us. I want to give an example here that came to me. It doesn't have to be the exact example, like this is what anyone's actually going through or will go through, but it's just what popped in my head. Let's say you have two people that are together. They're partners in some way. They're in a relationship. One person has this epiphany or this wake-up call, this awareness, this spiritual awakening, I mean, whatever you want to call it. Maybe something comes to their attention. I don't know what it is, but it's just like a boom. Okay? This individual is now aware that either the person they're with doesn't really love them, maybe like never did, that it's not real love. Even if the person themselves thinks that they do love them, it's like, this isn't love. Or this person is made aware that this person is no longer in love with them, that they've fallen out of love with them type thing, right? So imagine that. The person going through their own kind of, oh my God, this is like, because that could be fucking painful, you know, for the person who's having the awakening. Of course it is. So, but ultimately it's changing them and putting them on a new, solid, firmer foundation, something real, something we can work with here. Anyway, this person then realizes what they need to do. I'm stuttering a lot in this one. It's not going to be easy if this hasn't happened yet. This person then realizes what they need to do, and that would be leave the relationship. Why would we stay in something that's not genuine? Even if, seriously, even if the other person truly believed they were really in love with this individual, it's not genuine love. This person sees it and knows that they need to move forward. It's time for them to separate or something. The other individual is not going to want to let go. I'm telling you, they're not going to want to let go. It's going to be like, clinging. Someone's going to want to cling to, because it's familiar, because it's what we know. No, this is love. Of course I love you. Yes, I don't know, but I'm telling you, someone's going to see it. Like, let's say the two people have a fight. I cannot speak. What is going on? Let's say these two people have a fight or an argument, or it doesn't have to be anything like that. Just somebody's just realizing, like, this isn't really love, or this isn't who I want for myself. I don't really love them, or I don't love them anymore, or I've since grown in a different way, and now I'm realizing what love is. I thought I've loved this person, but now I'm seeing what love is, and I kind of want my life back or whatever. And they bring this to this other person's attention, and this person's like not wanting to let go. Now, I'm not saying, again, that's anybody's scenario, but if that happens, that can be, for both people, extremely difficult, because this person's having, I mean, they weren't expecting this. They weren't expecting to have this realization about another or themselves, whichever it is, but it's the truth. It's undeniably the truth. And this person is going to live in the truth, even if it hurts, because they're realizing that what Gemstone Tarot said, no's aren't always bad. They can be good. And yeses, maybe even I do's, can be bad. So this person has this awareness, doesn't mean it's easy. And then the other person, they're going to have one too, but it's going to be, I don't know. I think ultimately it's going to cause someone, both people, but especially one who isn't wanting this to happen or isn't the one, I don't know. There's one person wanting to hang on here and another person wanting to go, or already has, or will be, or something like that. Some of you, this could be someone connected to you. Somehow you know them and you're connected to them, but they're going through this with another where they're realizing, or the other person's realizing, either that the person doesn't love them intentionally and is just lying, or just they believe it's love but it's not, or that they're not really in love with them anymore, that we've changed, we've grown apart, we've grown. And even though the other person deep down knows that it's true, in that moment, maybe they're just being made aware of it in that moment, or they've known the whole time, they don't want things to end. Whereas this person is like, yeah, but I don't want this. This isn't what I want for myself. Like, they're being real honest with themselves, whereas another, they're going to find it a little bit harder to. But I think ultimately, everybody involved will eventually, if they're not in resistance to it, will get to a place where it's like, okay, we're accepting it and we're just going to let go and grow apart. So this is definitely not for everybody. I love this message. I actually think this is a really positive message. See, that's why I said I really loved what she said, because that put a lot into perspective for me. I'm like, that is so true. It's probably one of the most truest things I've ever heard. Yeses aren't always good and nos aren't always bad. I have this like twitch in my eye. I've been having like this spasm. Well, that's weird because it's happening during this, and I just looked it up. Spasm is a sudden involuntary muscular contraction or convulsive movement. Experience sudden involuntary muscular contractions. This is a contraction. This is a contraction in a connection between two people. Even if it's people who are just talking and friends, or have remained friends, or I don't know, dating, married. This is a contraction between people. What caused the contraction? That's going to be different for everybody, but ultimately it's that someone's realizing something, and there's no one seeing it now. It just is. It is the truth. I mean, it is. We could think all day that there's a box in the corner over there, but let's say it's nighttime and we're like, oh, that's a box in the corner over there. That's definitely a box. No, that is 100% a box. And then the sun comes up the next day, shines through our blinds, and we're like, that's not a box at all. That's a couch. That's a couch. And it's like, how did I get box out of couch? We can't see that anymore at nighttime. The nighttime comes again. We're not going to look at that and be like, that's a box, because we've already seen that it's a couch. Did that make any sense? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a couch, not a box. It just looked like a box. That's what this person's going through. What I think it's you. I think you're the one seeing it. Whoever was trying to click on this video. But, yeah. Yeah. So, I guess we'll leave it there. That's what I got for this one. Change will be occurring in two people. One who's reluctant to accept it initially, but may eventually get there. That's on them. That's their choice. And one person who I don't even think necessarily wanted to realize something this way, but it was time. It was like time for someone to see something, and they end up seeing it. You know, whether they see it with their own two eyes, they just realize it. It's almost like the universe comes in one day while they're sitting with this person or talking to them or whatever, and just flips on the light switch, and this person's like, wait a second, you don't really love me, or this isn't really love. Even again, and I reiterate, even if the other individual truly thinks that it is, but they're just in what they understand love to be. This person now all of a sudden, and things can happen like that, all of a sudden sees that love is different. Or maybe someone's just realizing, I don't this isn't really love with me, with you. I'm just codependent on you, or your energy, or your love, or whatever. This isn't really. Have you ever wanted someone so much? Like so much, like you thought, this is my person, this is this and that, like you were dead set on it, and then eventually you get to a place where you're like, you know what, I still feel these strong feelings and all that, like I can't help what I feel, but it's not my person. Like this isn't really, I know they're not my one, it's not meant to be, this isn't the person that I'm meant to be with, even if I felt it strongly. And that can be really hard, you know, but we are just kind of like, it is what it is eventually, and we move forward. But I think we've all been through that to a degree where it's like, it's just not the one. Even though when we were in it, in the thick of it, you couldn't have told us anything because we felt so strongly. It was a yes, but our yes wasn't good really for us. And now that we have a no, a clear no from the universe or your creator, whoever, it's like, I'm okay with this no. The no is freeing me from what I thought was a positive yes. So something like that. That's what I'm getting here. Yeah, someone's being set free of a mindset or a belief, or has been already. This could have already happened, or could be something that's due to happen. Thank you guys for being here with me, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.